Tuesday morning. He said, "Come on, Joe." He said, "You're lying to me here. You don't want McGwire to hit it tonight because you want to be able to see it in person yourself in Cincinnati." And I said, "No." I said, "Honestly, even though it would be a big thrill for me to see it in person, I really hope. I had a sincere hope that he did it on Tuesday for the home crowd."
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that he did. I don't know who was calling for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Shannon.
Was it Shannon? Have you heard the call?
I have not heard the call. Actually, I've heard it. I heard it sort of in the background as I was getting ready to come in because I had to eventually get ready to come into the show tonight. I have a quote somewhere here. Actually, it's printing out as we speak off the printer. What Shannon actually said. Apparently, it was a fairly straight ahead call. It was basically, long fly ball, and it's out, and he's the home run champion. Now, I don't know if he got too poetic. Jack Buck's was pretty interesting, I thought.
Number 61?
Yeah.
When I first heard it, I guess I was caught up in the emotion of it. I really enjoyed it. But I was talking with Sports 84's Van Vance this afternoon, and he really thought it was a poor call.
Really?
But, well, if you listen to it, you never find out where the ball traveled. And you never find out the actual play itself other than it was a home run. Mm-hmm. And he was as far as play-by-play, I think Van was questioning the mechanics of it.
Right.
It was a very emotional call. I think he had a classic line that will probably go down in baseball history. "Excuse me while I stand up and applaud."
Yeah.
That'd be very classic in the history of baseball.
Flight 61 headed for Planet Maris, and
that's pretty good.
Flight 62 headed for Planet McGwire tonight. I got to tell you, Konica Copiers and Printers got every single dollar's worth of any kind of investment they made in advertising at Busch Stadium this past year because the sight of the ball sailing between their advertising sign and the outfield fence is going to be replayed infinite number of times just between now and the morning talk shows.
It's going to be. I don't know if that was by design, obviously, of having a banner out there, but. Certainly, you're right. They're going to get their money's worth. I haven't heard what happened to the ball. I know that's an equipment room.
Well, what
underneath?
Right. What happened was a young man. I don't know how old he is. A young man who works for the Cardinals for the grounds crew retrieved the ball, and he said he didn't give a second thought to it. He is giving it to Mark McGwire. In fact, Scott Jennings, you may remember what I said I would do if I caught the ball. I actually kind of rehearsed to myself. I had a little daydream of what I would say to Mark McGwire. I would say to him, "Mr. McGwire, I believe this belongs to you." Well, tonight on the field at Busch Stadium, in a commemoration, a celebration, and a ceremony on the field that included Commissioner Bud Selig and Cardinal broadcaster Jack Buck and others there on the field, including the entire team. This young man, Tim Forneris is his name, who says he ran as fast as he could to retrieve the ball that was hit just over that left field fence. He gave Mr. McGwire the ball, saying, "I believe this belongs to you." So I don't know if he got wind of mine or if we had some independently brilliant thoughts, but awfully great time. Actually, what he did, he actually not only gave it to they brought him back on the field, but he wanted McGwire to have it immediately, so he immediately handed it off to an usher saying, "Go give it to McGwire now." So if you look at the replay right after McGwire hit the home run,
somebody's giving him the ball.
Somebody's giving him the ball, and he kind of waves him off. He doesn't care about that. He wants to hug his son right now.
Well, I wanted to know that at 12:13 on ESPN, I just saw the commercial. Mark McGwire comes off the field, the Disney World commercial, where Mark McGwire, you just hit your 60-second home run, and they had him saying it, "I'm going to Disney World."
Did he really?
12:13. I don't know if that's the first airing of it or not, but that was I just saw it. That's the first commercial and endorsement I guess I've ever seen him.
I have never seen him. The only thing I've seen him do are PSAs.
Right, and this was but sure enough, it was official, it was real.
Has anyone else noticed that his father sounds just like Chris Schenkel? I mean, I'm just...
Leave it to you to think of something like that, brother.
I just thought it was funny.
So you're still going up tomorrow night?
What's that?
Are you still going up tomorrow
night? Oh, absolutely. I want to see the Cardinals play whenever I can.
Oh, I agree with that assessment, yes.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, will the media crush be as severe in Cincinnati tomorrow night, or I should say tonight now, Wednesday night, with the Cardinals-Reds game, or do you think that most of the media will fall off?
I don't know, but I think it might be worth your effort tomorrow to give them a phone call.
Oh, yeah?
And ask if there is maybe an available potential. Or,
you know what I'm saying? Now that I bought the tickets in left field, I'm going to be out there.
Oh,
I want number 63!
Well, there's still potential for a big story, I think, if what if he gets hit by a pitch tomorrow or something, gets hit in the hand? I'm not hoping for that.
What are you doing?
There's still potential for stories, I think, for the rest of the season. I don't think that I assume that less media now from, I guess, smaller organizations, smaller newspapers in the area might not be as interested in it.
Now, do you think, what about Sammy Sosa? Well, I mean, they had this weird convergence of media in St. Louis the last 2 days.
Right.
With the folks following Sosa and the folks following McGwire converging on St. Louis. Now you have to kind of wonder if some of the folks who were following Sosa will continue with McGwire, or maybe if some of those will say, well, Sosa will be the next person to break Roger Maris's. Let's follow him instead. I don't know what the next step should be. In fact, I was actually curious about this, just in general, about the media attention the rest of the year. Obviously, every home run that Mark McGwire hits from this point on will be a new Major League record.
That's right.
So does that mean that there still be a heightened level of interest, or do you think that it's going to just fall completely off the table now?
Well, I think the luster off Sammy Sosa's 62nd is definitely, if not gone, greatly reduced. I do think it will still be a big deal because he will be only the second man in Major League Baseball history to have done that.
Sure.
So, but I mean, it's obviously not going to be as much grandeur as it was tonight with McGwire. I still think that Sosa has a legitimate chance to win the home run title.
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen, it's quite obvious that the man can go on a tear. He did it in June,
right,
and hit multiple home runs over the next couple of weeks. And McGwire has gone 30 at bats this season on 2 occasions now without hitting a home run. So
well, but then again, McGwire is on as much of a tear as he ever has been in his career right now.
True, that's right. I think he's got less pressure to hit home runs, so who knows what's going to happen. But he's got like 15 in his last 21 games. So
right. The question is what kind of pitches is Mark McGwire going to get to hit? Because Sammy Sosa is first of all surrounded by a lot of quality individuals, and he's independent chase. Now he's going to be more apt to want to just get on base for the Cubs' sake. McGwire, I think, has been slugging for the fences regardless. But the question is, are the Cardinals a quality enough ball club to be able to offer him that kind of an opportunity the rest of the year?
Well, I don't know. I suspect he's going to get a night off pretty soon.
Will it be in Cincinnati?
That thought crossed my mind, and I tell you what, it might be good for him to get a night off. I hope they let him play tomorrow.
Can you imagine?
Thursday, but it would not surprise me one bit to see the man take a night off, and he's well deserved.
Right. Well, Scott, I know you've been a busy man. You've been busy watching all of the different press conferences and
watching
everything.
Roger Maris Jr. right now.
Yeah. I'm monitoring that as we speak. Listen, if you want to be a part of the conversation, if you happen to still be awake a little bit later, give us a call back. We'll talk some more. Okay.
All right, Joe. Have a good show.
And I'll talk to you if nothing else. Actually, call me sometime during the day tomorrow. We'll talk about the trip up to Cincinnati.
Okay. I guess you're going to be awake at some point tomorrow. I'm going to leave. I guess I had planned on going up there very early tomorrow, just to get some pregame. But now that I don't know, I've lost my story. I've got to come up with a new angle.
Well, tell you what, stay on hold for me for a few minutes here. Then I'll talk to you off the air.
Okay, Joe.
Okay, thanks, Scott. That's Scott Jennings of News Radio 84 WHAS, making our baseball plans on the air as we speak. Todd's on a cell phone. Hi, Todd.
Hey, how you doing, Joe? I appreciate you letting me on.
Okay, bud.
I was just going to ask you, what do you think would happen if, say, McGwire gets stuck at 65 and Sosa hits 66? Will that take any of the tarnish off the 60-second home run?
Well, certainly you can't take back the night, if you will.
That's what I think. And I'm not trying to take nothing off McGwire. Believe me, I'm glad he did it.
No, I think that the celebration tonight is his, and he's the first person ever to hit more than 61 home runs on the season. So obviously, if Sosa ends up being the home run champion for the year, then he's going to be the name. He's going to be the man, as they say, in between McGwire and Sosa, no doubt. And I imagine there'll be as equally as huge a celebration the last day of the season, and that's going to be the exciting thing. If Sosa is within a couple of swings of claiming that record for his own, what incredible attention the last couple of days of the season.
Hey, let me ask you, Joe, and I got to go back to work. But what would you have done with the 60-second ball if you would have caught it?
I've said it from the very beginning, and some people haven't believed me. I would have given it to Mark McGwire. Now, that said, I thought about it for a long time. I said, I would make one request. No cash, no money involved. The one thing that I like to do is go to a baseball game.
Yep.
And so what I would want to have is one of those little cards that the commissioner and about 50 different old sports writers have, which basically gains them entry to any baseball game, anywhere, anytime.
That's cool.
If I could have that, where a guest and I could go to any game ever, That would be the ultimate prize as far as I'm concerned.
I know I was listening yesterday. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to the John Miller and Joe Morgan, right?
Yeah.
And Morgan, he disagreed. John Miller said that he would give it back and give it to McGwire. Well, Joe Morgan was like, well, hey, I would maybe, maybe, I don't know. I know it's bad to make money, and the love of money is the root, but I will say this. I like what Sosa did. They said with the 58th home run, he took it, signed it, and gave it back to the kid and said, you could use this more than I could.
That actually was a Chicago Tribune employee, a woman who had a sign and a glove. The sign said, Sammy hit it here, I'll give it back. She brought a glove with her, the front row of the bleachers. She caught it, she gave it back, he gave it back to her. This one, of course, this home run is, and I know I sound sort of hyperbolic when I say it this way. It's more than just one person's ball. That ball belongs to baseball. It belongs in Cooperstown. It belongs for all baseball fans to be able to enjoy.
I agree, and I'll say this, that it's a toughie, Joe. I can't honestly say you're probably a better man than me, brother.
I don't know about that.
I would maybe take the $1 million, or I know Pepsi was offering you get World Series tickets till 2002.
Well, you know something? There's still a standing offer from one man. He says the last home run, the record breaking, or not the record breaking, but the record ball, they're still going to offer $1 million for that.
Yeah.
So there's still an opportunity out there for you.
And I look at it real quick is that they hit the balls out. It's the fans' ball. And plus, too, is and not knocking the players. They went on strike, but they're in the business to make money, And daggone, I don't see nothing wrong with McGwire. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I've given the guy, $500,000. Daggone, the guy makes a ton of money. They got enough money to live off the interest for the family generations to come.
The way I see it is this: as far as you and I sitting there together at the ballpark, we decide to go to the ball game. We catch a baseball, we give it back. How is our life? Is our life any less the fact that we gave that ball back?
Yeah, I will tell you this: the nice thing is, I'd be able to put $500,000 in the bank. Maybe my son would be able to go to Notre Dame and go to college. I would definitely take care of all my nieces and nephews as far as going to college. It would definitely go to a good cause. But
that's what Joe Morgan said last night. So you're in good company.
Hey, I got to run, brother.
Thanks, Todd.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you. 571-8484. Free call for GTE Wireless 511. Toll free 800-444-8484. It is open line conversation. We'll talk some more about Big Mac number 62 when we come back. At Rhymes, 84 WHAS.
Relax, close your eyes, and sail away on the soothing strings of Mario da Silva and his debut CD, Meet Mario. Mario brings an artist's sensitivity to your favorite soft rock songs. It's a new way to experience the music you've loved for so long. Hear how a Brazilian master and one of this area's hottest musicians transforms these pop and rock standards. Rainbow at Midnight Records is proud to introduce this phenomenal talent, Mario da Silva, playing some of your favorite tunes on Meet Mario. Hits like Sailing, Norwegian Wood, Fire and Rain, and Stairway to Heaven. It's a musical experience that will move your heart and stir your soul. 20 of your favorite songs, over 1 hour of gorgeous music. Find Meet Mario at Barnes & Noble, Camelot, Books A Million, Holly Cook, Disc Jockey, and Ear Ecstasy. Meet Mario, a new experience in great music.
You know how costly it can be to feed pets or livestock. Some animals can eat you out of house and home, but not with affordable feed and pet supply. You can afford to feed your animals the best because they've got low prices and a great selection. They stock all the major brands of pet food like Science Diet, Iams, Purina Pro Plan, Sensible Choice, and more. And they've got more than just great prices and name brands. They have a full line of pet items, including a variety of fish and aquarium supplies. If you have critter problems, affordable feed and pet supply rents live animal traps by the week or month. So you can see, when it comes to animals, whether they're pets or pests, affordable feed and pet supply is the place to go. They'll even deliver your order free with a minimum purchase. They're located in Crestwood, Kentucky on Highway 146. Open Monday through Friday 9 to 7, Saturday 9 to 5. Affordable feed and pet supply for all your pet and livestock needs and feeds.
12:25, time for cruise news from the king of cruises, International Tours and Cruises in Louisville. The latest hot off the fax machine values and luxury cruises from Carnival Cruise Lines. And if you hear a cruise deal you like, you can call International Tours and Cruises 502 844-225-4464. The Carnival Fun Facts this morning. This is both 10 and 11-day cruises departing from Miami beginning Monday, November 9th of this year aboard the fun ship Jubilee. Is it Jubilee or Jubilee? One of the two. Anyway, a 10-day Southern Caribbean, or is it Caribbean cruise? Either way, you can go. Virgin Gorda, Tortola, Martinique, Barbados, St. Lucia, and St. Thomas. That begins in November from $729, including port charges. That's per person, of course, based upon double occupancy. The 11-day Exotic Caribbean cruise, St. Thomas, St. Kitts, Barbados, Trinidad, and Aruba, beginning Monday, November 30th, from only $979. And the 11-day Panama Canal cruise begins Monday, the 9th of November, only $12.99 per person based upon double occupancy, including port charges. Every weekday morning around 12:20 and 4:20, we have the latest and best cruise values from International Tours and Cruises, your travel agency for Carnival Cruise Lines. Call 502-425-4464 for International Tours and Cruises, the king of cruises, 502-425-4464.
84 WHAS is Kentuckiana's news, weather, and traffic station. With the area's largest local radio news staff, 84 WHAS has reporters working hard every day to keep you up to the minute. Add to that the experience of the WHAS Storm Team, seasoned meteorologists who know you depend on accurate weather updates. Then there's Skywatch 84 with comprehensive airborne traffic reports to get you there safely and on time. When you need to know, trust the leader.
And here is the WHAS Storm Team forecast from meteorologist Ken Schultz. Clear and cool this morning, low 47. Sunny and pleasant Wednesday, high 73. Wednesday evening clear, a low of 50. The outlook for Thursday, sunny and pleasant, high 78. Friday, mostly sunny, a little warmer, high 82. Currently 64 degrees at your official weather station, 84 WHAS. 12:27, the Joe Arnold Show, 84 WHAS. Your phone calls are welcome this morning, 571-8484. Free call for GTE Wireless 511 and toll-free 800-444-8484. Oh, it is open line conversation, but I have to at least take some time this morning for a St. Louis Cardinal fan, for a baseball fan in general. You got to take some time and talk about Big Mac's home run number 62. It was so exciting. Margaret's from St. Louis. Hey, Margaret.
Hey, Joe. How you doing?
This is my friend Margaret.
Hi, it is your friend Margaret.
Who called me one time from Cincinnati, of all places.
And now I'm calling you from St. Louis, and Bill's on the horn too.
It's a conference call from St. Louis.
That's right.
And well, congratulations to both of you on being in the hometown of heroes.
That's right. We called to talk about Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
I'm kidding.
Now you played the trump card. Somebody's going to call back now and say, "Hey, I'll talk about Monica Lewinsky."
Joe, it's a Fairfest thing.
Yeah, that's a whole other story.
It's a Fairfest thing here.
What is the? I can't imagine. I mean, how much work is going to get done tomorrow in offices across St. Louis?
Probably not very much, because
Yeah.
I know this is what everybody's going to be talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I have to be honest with you, and this is going to seem, once again, a little bit over the edge, a little bit over the top.
But that's okay, because you're never that way. Go
Not
ahead.
at all. But when I saw McGwire pick up his son, when I saw him, hugging Sammy Sosa,
I know.
I cried.
I did too.
I'm like, this is amazing. This is what?
On the way home from work Saturday, I heard Jack Buck call number 60, and I cried. And then I taped the game on the television, and I taped Jack and Mike on the radio yesterday, and I cried again yesterday, and I cried all night tonight. What can I tell you? I'm just a softie that way.
Now, Bill, you crying too?
No.
But you're just enjoying the moment, huh?
But I do know a guy who got choked up.
Who's that?
Well, one of the women that I work with. It's actually, and she went to school with our friend Mary Warburton.
Right.
They got their masters together. Little side bit. Anyway, her husband kind of got choked up. She said, "Did you get choked up?" No, I just got I kind of got touched for a minute. He didn't want to. He did. So.
Yeah. Well, it was quite a night, and I can't imagine the kind of electricity that must be in the air there in St. Louis. But
it's pretty exciting.
I know Bill's been saving a copy of every Post-Dispatch from the home run number 1 all season, right, Bill?
That's correct. The only thing I wish I would have got was I would have been down there at the stadium this last night and tonight for the
extras.
Right. They only made 50,000 copies of each.
Well, I imagine those will be on the market pretty soon. I bet you can find somebody who might be able to sell you one for a couple of bucks.
I'm thinking we get the Post delivered here every day. Anybody who has the subscription to the Post that way ought to be able to get those.
The Chicago Tribune internet site this whole season has been so interesting because they've always talked about Sosa first, and finally this morning in their editions on Tuesday morning, it had McGwire as the lead for the first time, I think. But an awfully great, it's a class act from both of those gentlemen. And listen, just have a great night there, and Bill, do your best getting stadium extras of 61 and 62.
I do my best. I'll just drive around tomorrow. I'm always in town. You never know.
You guys have a great morning.
Thanks, Joe. You too.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
And congratulations to all St. Louis Cardinal and to all baseball fans. We'll talk more with you, an open line conversation. Plus, we have some interesting facts. My sister Charissa is going to be joining me in just about 5 minutes. She happens to call as well, and I know that it happens to be there is a correlation. There is a connection between me and the guy who caught the ball. I'll tell you what that is when we come back on 84 WHAS.
The Cardinals' Mark McGwire set a new all-time home run record, 62 homers in a single season. Mike Shannon called it on the Cardinals radio network.
They are very deep. They play him to pull. Traxel winds and fires. Big Mac, swing, and a shot into the corner. It might make it. There it is, 62, folks. It just got over the left field wall in the corner. And we have a new home run champion. A new Sultan of SWAT. It's Mark McGwire. He touches them all. Unbelievable. He hugs Gaetti as he comes around. He's pointing to the crowd. He's saluting.
The celebration among players and fans stopped the game against the Chicago Cubs for about 10 minutes. The Cards went on to beat the Cubs 6-3. During the post-game ceremony, McGwire was given a 62 Corvette convertible. I'm Dorothy McIntyre, ABC News.
Are you looking for something new for lunch? Or somewhere to take your clients with delicious food, friendly atmosphere and reasonable price? Or visit Molly Malone's Irish Pub and Restaurant at 933 Baxter Avenue in the Highlands. They've recreated an authentic Irish atmosphere. You'd swear you were back in the old sod. Open daily at 11 a.m. Molly Malone serves authentic Irish dishes like grilled salmon, beer crisp fish and chips, the mouth-watering buxty platter, delicious corned beef sandwiches, Scotch eggs, potato and leek soup, traditional salads, and much, much more. A real taste of Ireland is just around the corner at 933 Baxter Avenue in the Highlands. Molly Malone's, serving up authentic Irish food, quality import beers, liquors, and great fun. Stop by and see them today.
Riverdance Show Package now available at Molly Malone's. An Irish dinner and drink, a ride to and from Kentucky Center, and tickets to the show. Stop into Molly Malone's and purchase your package today.
The world is always changing, and 84 WHAS is committed to bringing you the latest news developments. Our experienced news professionals work tirelessly to uncover fresh details and new information. Depend on News Radio 84 WHAS.
WHAS Storm Team Forecast.
This is Storm Team meteorologist Ken Schultz, and for this morning we'll have clear skies. Our low down to 47 degrees. For today, Wednesday, it'll be sunny. The high 73 with a north breeze at 10 miles per hour. For Wednesday night, clear skies, the low 50. Thursday will be sunny, the high 78. Friday, mostly sunny with our high around 82 degrees. That's your Storm Team forecast. This is meteorologist Ken Schultz.
Clear and 64 degrees at your official weather station, 84 WHAS.
During the evening of May 12, 1998, unknown subjects entered a construction site at 6800 Bardstown Road in the Fern Creek area of Jefferson County. They poured sand into the oil filler of a Bobcat loader, which destroyed the engine. There have been several other construction locations in the Bardstown Road area since then that has had heavy equipment vandalized. Your help is needed to identify these subjects, which will solve several felony criminal mischief cases.
Kentuckiana Crime Stoppers will pay cash for information that leads to the arrest and indictment of the person or persons who committed this crime. Crime Stoppers also pays cash for information that helps solve any other felony crime. Crime Stoppers needs the help of everyone to combat crime. Help make our community safer by calling Crime Stoppers at 582-CLUE. That's 582-2583. Calls are anonymous and confidential. To be eligible for a Crime Stopper reward, you must call Crime Stoppers first. If you're calling long distance or from a payphone, call Collect. a public service from the Kentuckiana Crime Stoppers and 84 WHAS.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Well, they were rumbling at Busch Stadium tonight. In fact, in every living room, sports bar of any baseball fan in the country, as probably the most hallowed of all baseball records was broken with one swing of Mark McGwire last night. Number 62 on the year, 62 home runs, breaking the 37-year-old record of Roger Maris. And the Cardinals won the game, too. They doubled up the Cubs 6-3. The final no home runs for Sammy Sosa. In fact, that broke a streak of, I think, 15 consecutive series Sosa had homered within, and broken by the Cardinals last night. 6-3 Cardinals on top of the Cubs. If only the Cardinals were playing this well earlier in the season, they might actually still have a shot at the playoffs, but they have already been eliminated. Other scores last night, speaking of playoff contention, the Mets had a chance to gain ground on the Cubs, but they were walloped by Philadelphia, 16-4, the final at Philadelphia. Pittsburgh defeats Milwaukee 8-7. It was Montreal 6, Atlanta 3. Houston clobbers the Reds 13-7. 3 games still underway in the National League. Top of the 9th inning, Florida and Colorado are tied at 9. And the top of the 8th, Arizona and Los Angeles are knotted at 5. In the top of the 8th inning, the Giants lead the Padres 5-1. In the American League, Yankees over Boston 3-2. It was the White Sox doubling up Detroit 12-6. Texas edges the Royals 7-6. In the top of the 7th inning, Tampa Bay leads Seattle 5-0. Home run for Fred McGriff, none for Ken Griffey Jr. tonight. Top of the 6th, Baltimore over Oakland 3-2. And the bottom of the 7th inning, Minnesota leads Anaheim 4-0. We'll have more sports in an hour and more open line conversation coming up in 30 seconds on 84 WHAS.
84 WHAS. Cardinal Connection.
Cardinal fans, we're back at the Kingfish at Zorn Avenue and River Road this week. Hi, this is Paul Rogers. Join Coach John L. Smith and me for Cardinal Connection. We'll be at Kingfish from 7 until 8 o'clock Thursday night. We'll take your calls if you can't be there. Otherwise, join us.
Don't miss a thing. 84 WHAS.
Welcome back, Open Line Conversation. We will get into a whole variety of other issues, by the way, this morning. It won't all be Mark McGwire, but hey, listen, it's the night for baseball fans. I just happen to think that baseball is an incredible sport. Baseball is my favorite sport, obviously. The drama, the suspense, the character, and the characters in this game, and you saw many of them tonight at that game in St. Louis. I mentioned before my sister Charissa lives in my hometown of Belleville, Illinois, and she was, I believe, trying to study for law school, but apparently you were distracted just a tad by that game, Chris.
It was quite unsuccessful. I'm hoping my copyright professor is as big of a Cardinal fan as I am. Otherwise, I'm sunk tomorrow. Anyway.
Yeah, quite a night. Now, actually, you were talking to me a little bit off the air, and you disclosed that they're actually, I was going to give out one connection between Mark McGwire's home run and Joe Arnold, because I'm looking for any connection whatsoever I can find.
Anything you can get.
Like for instance, on the 61st home run, he was making a connection to Babe Ruth because it was home run ball. It was number 3 out of the drawer and things like that.
Right.
And also, of course, 61st home run on his dad's 61st birthday.
Yep.
Well, do you know what time Mark McGwire hit number 62 on Tuesday night?
I'm going to take a wild stab at it.
All right.
Actually, no, I think I'm wrong. Oh, I bet it was 8:40 Eastern Time.
It was not 8:40.
Oh.
It was 8:18
Oh.
Central Time. It was, of course, it's my birthday, 8:18.
That is pretty good.
So I'm thinking that was pretty
cool. I like the whole 98-98 thing going into today.
What's that?
That's the date today.
Today's date is 9/8/98.
Yep.
I didn't even think about that.
Pretty neat, huh?
Yes, every connection possible. Every astrologer in the country is going to give us a call now. And did you know that Ruth was an Aquarius?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
That's why I called to provide you with something more concrete.
Okay.
I was just minding my own business, reading my book, when I noticed that I recognized the groundskeeper that caught the ball. He went to our high school.
He went to my high school, your high school.
My high school.
Amazing.
Right.
Altoff Catholic High School in Belleville, Illinois. And that just goes to show you the character of the folks at high school turns out. We would all give the balls back.
That's right.
Would you give it back to him?
Yes, I would.
$1 million?
No question.
It paid for law school.
Nope, no question. I would give it back.
Well,
that would kill the whole spirit of the evening if you kept it for money or.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't blame the guy. I mean, in that sense, I mean, it's all an individual decision.
Oh,
But
definitely.
I just
For
can't.
me.
I just can't believe I didn't hear it, which just kills me because I would have loved to have actually heard him. Tim Ferneris is his name, correct?
Tim Ferneris.
Ferneris, yeah. Who got the groundskeeper at Bush, who actually retrieved the ball.
Right.
After it kind of went into the batting cage area between the advertising sign and the outfield wall. Apparently, he actually took to the microphone at Bush Stadium for the ceremony afterward and borrowed my line. I said this line last week. I'm thinking maybe he got wind of it when he said, "Mr. McGwire, I believe this belongs to you."
Did you say that last week?
I said it last week. I have it on tape.
Well,
I had a daydream. Maybe I had a daydream and I was him.
maybe you did. Maybe. Oh, my.
That's kind of scary.
I can check my book, and maybe that was copyright infringement.
There you go. sort of like Pat Riley and Three-Peat. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But so I imagine St. Louis area is just all of the TV and radio can't get enough of this story.
Yeah, it is. I love it. I'm flipping to every channel, and I really wanted to hear it called on KMOX, but I can't get AM in our house, so I had to settle for Joe Buck. But
Well, Joe Buck on Fox Sports said, down the left field line, is it enough? Gone. There it is, 62. Touch first, Mark. You are the new single-season home run king. Mike Shannon on KMOX, you just heard bottom of the hour. A shot into the corner. It might make it. There it is, 62, folks. And we have a new home run champion, a new Sultan of SWAT. Chip Carey on WGN-TV said, first pitch, rocket deep toward left. He did it. 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 And Pat Hughes on WGN Radio said, here's the pitch, and McGwire drives one to deep left. It could be. It is a home run, number 62 from Mark McGwire. A slice of history and a magical moment in St. Louis. A line drive home run to left for Mark McGwire. Ironically, the shortest home run of the entire season for Mark McGwire was tonight.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
just barely over the wall.
But who cares?
Yeah. Well, listen, get some sleep.
I will.
And I'd be interested. I was going to be interested in talk to you about like legal ramifications of those folks who actually catch the ball, but that apparently was not an issue tonight with our new friend and fellow
my new favorite alum. Of our
favorite common alumnus of Althoff High in Belleville, Illinois, Tim Ferneris.
Yep.
I thought I recognized the name, and they seemed like they'd be from some good Illinois stock, you know.
Don't they?
But and both his mom and his brother both work at Busch Stadium, both with him tonight at the game, being interviewed on Fox. Carissa, have a good night.
Thank you.
That's my sister Charissa Steffensmeier. And good luck at law school.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Bye.
And folks are calling from across the country here. We have Illinois, we have Missouri, we have Kentucky. We have Brad Knoop from WHAS 11, who actually, after the game tonight, I actually flipped over to Brad with Gary Rodemeyer and Melissa Swan to see what his take on it was. And Brad, very nice job again. And if you're a sports fan, you got to enjoy nights like tonight.
Well, thank you, Joe, and good morning. And I was riding home, and I just happened to think, hey, wait a minute. I know this guy's a St. Louis guy, so I got to call in and give you a little pat on the back. But, yeah, you know, I mean, I would have loved to have been a person to call that game, but I guess I got the second best thing, and you just kind of let it go, you know?
You know, I was curious. Every night when I come in, as you know, oftentimes Gary Rodemeyer, who of course is the anchor of WHS 11, along with Melissa Swan, he is a huge St. Louis Cardinal fan as well. And it's just kind of funny that even though there are plenty of things to talk to Gary about, he's a smart guy and he's a very entertaining guy. We both found out that we both were St. Louis Cardinals fans, you know, a year ago, and from that point on, every night, even in the off season, even in the hot stove league, it's all been about the Cardinals. And what was he like tonight? What was he like watching that game and leading up to that sports newscast?
Well, you couldn't really tell him anything, you know. It was just kind of he was just kind of in his zone, and I think being a big baseball fan like he is, I guess like anybody is if they're a baseball fan, it was just one of those wonderful things, and you only concentrate on that, and the rest is busy work.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm curious. Do you think that? And I hate to ask this question this way because I don't believe it true, but I'll go ahead and ask it anyway.
Bring it.
When something is so hyped, because there has rarely been, at least that I can remember, any sports story as hyped as this one. But sometimes there is substance to the hype. I'm curious, how much of this do you think is overly done, or do you think that all the attention we're giving this is proper?
I think everything that it's had has been deserved. It's just a great sports moment. It makes you realize how sports should be, and it's fun.
Right. And, that's the whole thing is that even though these guys are super competitive, Sosa and McGwire and the Cubs and the Cardinals. Cubs and the Cardinals, a fantastic rivalry. I was fortunate enough to grow up and see games since I was old enough to remember any games, and that was just a great friendly rivalry. And that's what's great about it. And nothing against Boston, New York, or any other kind of rivalries there might be, Dodgers and Giants, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this one is particularly pleasant because you can go to a game at Wrigley Field, wear your Cardinal jersey, and cheer for the Cardinals, and you might get some good-natured ribbing, but it's all about who plays the game well.
Yeah.
That's what, for instance, when Sosa reached the plate, and both last night or yesterday afternoon and tonight, the Cardinal fans all stood up and gave me a standing ovation because they said, "Hey, listen, he's a great player.
Sure.
We like to see good baseball," and that really is what I mean. You're of course a sportscaster. So often, I think we dwell upon all the negatives. How often do you find yourself reading a sportscast, Brad? And it's almost like you're reading the police blotter as opposed to a sportscast.
Well, it's happened more often than I'd like, that's for sure. But when you get nights like these, it makes it all worthwhile to see those two guys in particular having fun. And well, you saw after he hit it, and Sosa came up and gave him the hug, and they did the bash and all that stuff, and that just makes it worth it.
Now, the question I have for you, because you would probably know more than anyone else about this, is because you follow these stories, day in and day out, and see how they progress. And of course, we haven't seen a story like this in a long time. What do you think the attention is going to be like from this point on both McGwire and Sosa? Will the media attention be anywhere as close, as intense as it was tonight?
I don't know. It may fall off a little bit just for the fact that St. Louis isn't in contention for the postseason.
Right.
But still, at the same time, every home run he hits from now on is the record. So in that respect, it may. As for Sosa, I think with the Cubs in the wild card hunt, and two, him still chasing at least Maris's number,
right.
I would think that we'd still keep it pretty high on the list of things to cover.
Do you think that you'll, if as far as a lead story, if Mark McGwire hits a home run against Cincinnati tomorrow night, would that be your lead?
Yes. Tomorrow night, yes. Saturday during a UK-U of L football game, I don't think so.
That would be a little bit later on. Well, that has to take precedent, whatever's going on locally.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Brad Knoop from WHAS 11, always a pleasure to speak with you. You got to stop in again sometime for maybe an extended conversation about what's going on with John L. and Hal Mummy and the two squads.
Anytime. It's always a pleasure.
Be careful what you offer.
All right.
Thanks. We'll see you, bud.
Bye, Joe.
571-8484. Free call for GTE wireless customers, 511. And toll free at 800-444-8484. I want to thank you all for calling and let you know that we have a message off the air here. And believe me, I always appreciate these traffic updates if you're in the middle of them. A caller has reported that I-65 southbound to the I-64 east ramp is shut down. A tractor-trailer lost a load of steel. That, I imagine, would be in the downtown near Spaghetti Junction. And apparently the delay at this point is estimated at between 4 and 6 hours. So if you're traveling through the area at all, you definitely want to avoid or find some alternate route. I-65 southbound to the I-64 east ramp. And I'll try to have some more specific information on that. Or if you're stuck in it right now and want to give me a call, it's shut down for 4 to 6 hours. So for the duration of this program, apparently a tractor-trailer losing a load of steel last night. So thanks so much for that information, whoever called it in. And if you're on the highway at any time, the Highway Patrol line, the 84 WHAS GTE wireless line, 511, is a free call for all GTE wireless phones. Back to your telephone calls now. And actually, as long as I put my my sister on the air, I might as well put my dad on as well. I think it's my dad. Hello?
Hi, Joe.
How you doing?
Fine. How are you?
I'm doing very well. This is sort of like the night that the Cardinals won the World Series. Everyone started calling me because they wanted to congratulate me. There's a certain kinship among people who are big Cardinal fans.
I was thinking about that. First, I want to report a traffic congestion downtown St. Louis.
Yeah, I bet there is.
In case your listeners are concerned about that.
I think that we're pretty much clear of that here in Louisville, but I appreciate the update.
I know you're tight for time. A little bit of a perspective on this, though. I'm not sure anybody's mentioned it yet, but the fact that this celebration, I think, is going to bring a lot of the fans back to the ballpark who maybe stayed away after the strike of the players earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there are many people said they wouldn't come back, but I think it's bringing a lot of those people out again. And the heading for the special edition of the Post-Dispatch tonight, which was published right after the game, was called Unbelievable Class, and that was in banner headlines for McGwire. And it was really a tremendous celebration. They're comparing it to the Lindbergh celebration in St. Louis.
Oh, my word.
And there's talk about a ticker tape parade and those kinds of things. So it's really an outstanding celebration in St. Louis, and will certainly be a big thing for the city for many years.
I do think that, and I think you raised an excellent point, that in fact our first caller called, and one of his points, the reason why he would sell the baseball, is he said, you know something, the baseball players and athletes in general proved a long time ago that they're interested in money, that they're really, it isn't all that much of a feel-good game anymore, because they're just in it for themselves. Why in the world should I give up a baseball? Why should I give that away to someone who's a money grubber? And I think that tonight, for the longest time, and believe me, I agree with those folks who had a problem with the strike. I thought that the players and the owners both put their own personal interests way ahead of the greater interest of the game. I think what this event tonight in St. Louis, with Mark McGwire breaking the home run record, and the way that he composed himself, the way that he carried himself throughout the season, and the way that Sammy Sosa, his chief competition in that chase, also conducted himself, I think it shows, I think for a lot of people, it does restore any kind of faith. It restores any kind of enthusiasm that perhaps they had lost back in '94.
I think that's true, and of course, as you watched McGwire on the TV and saw the class, the way he handled his relationship with the Maris family and with his own family and with the fans, you kind of had your faith restored as far as the relationship of these high-paid ball players to the game and to their fans. And I think Mark has done tremendous amount for the game and certainly for the St. Louis fans. Of course, every city thinks they have the best fans, and McGwire, I think, certainly has developed a strong relationship with the St. Louis fans as a result of this and the following which they've shown him.
I imagine Belleville, Illinois, our hometown, is a little proud that or at least the Metro East area is, that one of our own happened to catch the ball and give it back. Tim Ferneris, this young man, has he been interviewed anymore by local TV or anything there?
He's been off and on quite a bit, and of course they showed him when he was presenting the ball to McGwire, as you may have seen, and I'm sure he'll get a lot of recognition in the near future, and for returning that ball without any question. He immediately decided he was going to do that, even though, as you said, there was an offer of $1 million coming out of a Chicago sportsman who wanted to get that ball. So,
what would you have done?
I think I would have turned it in. It would have been a temptation, certainly, but I think certainly it belongs in the Hall of Fame, along with all the other memorabilia of such feats such as this. But it'll be interesting to follow and see how far this goes. Now, some people are predicting McGwire will get to 70 home runs before the season is over, and I'm kind of interested to see what McGwire is going to be able to do in the next several years to see whether or not he can even come anywhere close to this feat.
Someone said tonight, I don't know if it was on Fox or on ESPN or whatever telecast it was, that what Mark McGwire has done is he's reminded all of us this is a game, and of course it's more than just this. I'm not meaning to limit it at all, but it's a game about fathers and sons, and that's what it's been, at least for the longest time. You, of course, were the person that taught me how to keep score at a ball game and got me going with that. And so I have to thank you, I guess, on the air for getting me as enthusiastic as I am now. Because if you're a baseball fan, there's nothing greater than being able to watch an event like tonight.
That's true, and it's one of those times probably will not be repeated very often that you're very happy to be around and be able to observe and to kind of savor the moment, because I know when I was growing up, and I did get a chance to see Babe Ruth not play, but I saw him when I went to a game in St. Louis. They were bringing him back for just a media event.
I didn't know that. You saw Babe Ruth in person?
I did, yes.
Okay, of all the baseball games that you and I have attended together, Dad, you never told me that story.
Well, I usually leave early so I don't get...
You be careful. I'm going to tell that story on the air.
Right. So anyway, I did see Babe Ruth. They took him around in an automobile on the field to kind of let all the fans see him and to wave to him. That everybody felt was Mr. Baseball.
Mm-hmm.
And but time goes on, and there will always be the question about whether or not this was the quality type of record because of the change in the game and the baseball and the quality of the players because of the expansion and so on. But I think it's hard to challenge the fact that McGwire beat Ruth's record in fewer games than Ruth played, and I think that's certainly going to be mentioned in the record, I'm sure. So that I think McGwire will take his place in history. They mentioned tonight that his number will be retired, when he leaves, and will go in the reserve place in the field in the ball stadium as far as the section where they have all the Cardinals retired numbers. And so St. Louis will be spending a lot of time tonight celebrating, I'm sure, and probably for the next several days.
Well, save those papers for me.
We're doing that, and we will keep it. Your mother's here. She's kind of
here.
So it's getting late here. We're going to let you go.
All right. Well,
about midnight and here, and I know it's 1 o'clock there. So I know you have other callers.
That's right.
I wanted to share with you the atmosphere here in this area, and I know how strong a fan you are. I don't know if your listeners know that you have your own personal baseball shrine in your apartment.
I don't know if I call it a shrine, but it's a fairly cluttered collection of different baseball memorabilia.
You have a lot of things, and we'll see if we can find some things to add to that.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Joe.
We'll see you. That's my father. It's Richard Arnold calling from Belleville, Illinois. See you then. 571-8484, free call for GTE Wireless 511, and toll-free 800-444-8484. After the Cardinals won the World Series back in '82, this was a similar response. At that time, I didn't have my own program, so I just took phone calls, personally at home. But tonight, it's a different story. Drew is next. Drew, thank you for your patience. Good morning.
Morning, Joe. How are you?
Doing very well, thanks.
Good. All right. Well, congratulations from one Cubs fan to a Cardinal fan.
Hey, listen, there's nothing better than watching the game at Wrigley Field.
Mm-hmm.
That is the place, and of all my affection for Busch Stadium, I've never been to a better venue for a baseball game than Wrigley.
Well, Wrigley is great. I mean, I've been to Wrigley, obviously, and been to Cincinnati a couple times. Been out to Philadelphia once or twice, and
that's pretty awful.
That was pretty neat.
Oh, Philadelphia?
Yeah, it was all right.
The Vet?
Yeah, it's the same. It's Riverfront Stadium,
right,
all over again. But but that was a pretty neat experience, and never been out to Busch, but I would certainly like to make it. But I just one thing that I noticed. I mean, it was just so awesome to see Sammy go over there and give him the big hug and the big congratulations. And you could tell. I mean, Sammy was outwardly happy for him. I mean, it was genuine happiness.
There is this story. This story is so tremendous between Sosa and McGwire. The respect that they have for each other, and of course, only the two of them this year have any idea what kind of pressure there is on each of them.
Right. Well, obviously, I think the pressure's off now. A friend of mine and I were watching the festivities, and we were talking about it. It's quite conceivable that Sammy could actually pass him up. There's 18, 19 games left for the both of them.
I think the Cubs have one less game left.
Right. But I mean, it's still conceivable that Sammy could get hot and Mark could kind of cool off, and what are they going to do then? But
if they do it then Sammy Sosa. I mean, I think that for a variety of reasons. First of all, because the Cubs are still in the wild card hunt. Those games are going to be very heavily watched, the last 2-3 games of the season, depending upon where they are with the Mets and the Giants in the National League wild card. But also, if Sammy is anywhere close to McGwire, or if they're going neck and neck, then absolutely, because I don't think we're going to see this record challenge next year. I think it's a special year. It's rather unique for this many players to have over 50 home runs.
Oh yeah, for sure. But
so your prediction right now would be that Sosa passes him up?
Oh no, not at all. But I just said it's just conceivable that it could happen.
Absolutely.
My actual prediction is very conservative. I mean, I'm thinking 65 to 62.
Oh, really?
I'm
only
thinking,
3 more home runs the entire.
Right. That's my prediction. But
Are you going to be able to see any games in person before the end of the year?
Not before the end of the year, but I feel very confident that the Cubs are going to pull it out, at least for the wild card, obviously.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to reverse my position, and because there's something about, after seeing the Cardinal fans cheering the Cubs on the field at Busch Stadium last night, they have inspired me to go ahead and root for the Cubs and have them win the wild card. How's that?
I do appreciate that, sir. And I tell you what, I've already made tentative plans, I guess you could call them, with my family here. That and my wife, meaning that if they do make it to the wild card, I'm there.
All right.
I'm going, and even if I have to stand out.
Call me from Wrigley if you go.
I will.
Thanks, Drew.
Thanks, Drew.
We'll see you.
Bye-bye.
More coming up next hour. Open line conversation on 84 WHAS.
This is Kentuckiana's news, weather, and traffic station.
84 WHAS, Louisville.
News on the hour.
From ABC News, I'm Dorothy McIntyre. Mark McGwire has done it. He set a new record, 62 home runs in a single season. Mike Shannon called it on the Cardinals radio network.
They are very deep. They play him to full. Traxel winds and fires. Big Mac, swing, and a shot into the corner. It might make it. There it is, 62, folks. It just got over the left field wall in the corner. And we have a new home run champion. A new Sultan of SWAT. It's Mark McGwire. He touches them all. Unbelievable. He hugs Gaetti as he comes around. He's pointing to the crowd. He's saluting.
The celebration among players and fans stopped the game against the Chicago Cubs for about 10 minutes. These folks at Charlie Spoon's restaurant and sports bar in St. Louis also celebrated. The Cardinals went on to beat the Cubs 6-3. During the post-game ceremony, McGwire told the crowd about the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown flying out Roger Maris's bat for this game.
When I touched this bat tonight before the game, I knew tonight was going to be the night. And I can honestly now say I can rest my bat alongside Roger Maris's bat in the Hall of Fame, and I'm damn proud of it.
During the ceremony, McGwire was presented with a 62 Corvette convertible. And there was a record on Wall Street. The Dow gained nearly 380 points Tuesday, the biggest single-day point gain in history. The Nasdaq also posted a record gain. The buying frenzy followed a speech Friday by Federal Reserve Chairman Alan Greenspan, in which he...
I work in a little office, very much a cubicle kind of a place, sitting in front of a computer with a headset on my head because I insisted I would not miss this game. So I brought it, and I'm in the Chicago area, so I listened to it on WGN, which is the Cubs station, and listened to Pat Hughes and Ron Santo call the game. And I was telling Joe off the air that they were very, very gracious. They were just as delighted as I'm sure Jack Buck was. It was great to hear them. They were like school kids. They were just giddy with the moment. And they let that feeling carry them almost all the way through the game. Near the end of the game when the Cardinals were obviously going to win it, and because the Cubs are still in the wild card race, they were getting a little depressed.
Sure.
But anytime they mentioned Mark McGwire, their spirits would just start to soar, and they constantly referred to him as a guy that was all class, and they just didn't. They couldn't say enough good about him.
You know, the other question I wanted to ask this morning, and you are reminding me of it in your comments, is that when baseball went on strike in 1994, when the World Series was canceled, and of course it went into the 95 season, many people gave up on baseball from that point on. Many people said, that's it. That's we've gone through enough of this stuff, and I'm never coming back. They've lost me as a fan. I'm turning in my season tickets, etc.
Yeah.
And I think what happened, and at that time, the behavior of the ball players and the owners deserved that kind of a response. But at the same time, to me, I think baseball has redeemed itself in Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa this year.
Oh, I think it's taken an incredible turn, and well, your father already brought this up. Hi, Mr. Arnold. Hi, Mrs. Arnold. Hi, Arnold family, because I know they're all still listening. It's so exciting that I can say hi to them in one fell swoop. Well, I mean, just take, for example, things like the television commercials now. They have these home run commercials about the home run races. And, you know, that kind of coverage doesn't go to something that, you know, that isn't getting a lot of attention.
How surprised are you that, I don't know if you've heard about this or not. I actually got a phone call off the air about this, and also Scott Jennings of our news department called earlier last hour.
What's that?
So, I didn't know if you noticed this, Joe, but as you know, Mark McGwire, I had never seen him on a commercial before. Okay.
Right.
What's that?
I told you, well, there's a Sports Illustrated article this week, which I referred to on your show a couple of days ago.
Right.
But it says in there that he doesn't do endorsements like that because
Until
it's
now.
distracting.
Until now.
Well, now he doesn't have to be worried about being distracted.
After the game, after the game, do you know what he did?
What?
I'm going to Disney World.
He didn't.
He did.
Mark.
Are you disappointed?
Well, he has a little boy. Maybe he's going to.
He was holding his son. He was
Well.
saying, "We're going to Disney World," and so that's he joined the ranks of many other folks throughout the last 10 years in that famous commercial, whether it be Emmett Smith or Brett Favre or anyone else, in the "I'm going to Disney World." But I guess give the guy one commercial endorsement, huh?
Oh, sure. I'll give him anything at this point. I just love him. He is my hero. I'm so excited.
I have a feeling that you and plenty of other young single women across the country are eyeing this man. He is probably the most eligible bachelor in America.
I tell ya. And you know what I wanted to bring up?
Please.
That I don't think anybody's brought up yet. In a world today where what's the divorce rate now? Something like 60% or something, right?
Yeah.
It's terrible in this country.
And
I think he just. I mean, it's sad that he had to get a divorce, and I think in the article that I read, he blames himself for it, his own behavior for it, and I think he has a lot of remorse about it and regret. But also, because he has a child, I think you couldn't have a better example of a parent treating his ex-wife with so much respect. And actually, you know, he continued to have a friendship with her, and he's befriended her husband. You know, it's so important because he's got a child and he's got a connection to this woman for the rest of his life because of his son. I'm just on top of all of his other accomplishments, I just think that's an incredible asset.
I think this is an example, and I'll probably get in trouble for making this kind of a statement in relationship to this great event, but I think that there are more men like Mark McGwire who want to be good dads, who have been divorced or who are in situations of that nature, who aren't allowed to be good dads, who aren't allowed that kind of access, whose ex-wives, for one reason or another, you know, kind of deny them access. Now, that said, there are plenty of guys who are, you know, who are deadbeat dads, just like there are some deadbeat moms.
Oh, sure.
And we need to look at those people and say, hey, own up for your responsibilities. But I just, so often on this program, we talked about issues of divorce and custody battles. I can't tell you the number of times where guys have called me, you know, just in tears saying, I wish I could have that kind of access to my children. And though I wish, you know, you know, we wouldn't have been, you know, that this divorce didn't have to happen. You know, all I can do now is try to be a good dad.
Well, I just hope that that's tragic, and I just hope that you know, I don't think it's a man-woman thing. It's a people thing, and I just hope that in some way he's setting an example in that arena as well. I just think it's remarkable that they both are. I mean, it's not just him; it's his ex-wife as well. And I think it's wonderful that they do what they do for their son. I think it's terrific.
And I think, well, and the other thing too that he has really exemplified is something which is perhaps gentlemen of different generations, of previous generations, weren't as comfortable with, and that is expressing emotion.
Yeah.
Expressing any kind of affection. The fact that he basically gave his son a big old kiss on the lips after because he's holding him up, he's just looking in his eyes. I can tell he's trying to tell his son something in his ear or whatever else, and then finally just gives him a big old kiss and puts him down. And then he picked them up again a second time later on, because I don't know, since you were listening to the radio, I don't know if you get a sense of how long this thing went on. The game was delayed about 10 minutes.
I listened to it continuously. I didn't take it off of my ears until I was leaving work. I mean, the celebration, the broadcast went on from WGN. It was 11:30. It was just going on and on and on. So it's just exciting for everybody that's a baseball lover. And as far as bringing back the game of baseball to the, I really do think they have reinstated it, if you will, as America's favorite pastime. And I think after the strike, it really took a big dive.
I sure hope so. I sure hope
it has. Not that it ever left my heart, because just like you, it's my favorite game. And I should just tell Joe's listeners that you really taught me to love and appreciate the game of baseball. My father did introduce it to me, but you're the first person that ever taught me to keep score, and I really I can't thank you enough for it.
Well,
I had the nicest, happiest moment of my life tonight listening to the radio because of that love that you instilled in me.
Yeah, there's a real, I don't know what it is, and for a guy like myself who never, there's Howard Cosell wrote a autobiography a long time ago, called "I Never Played the Game," and I guess that's one way I'm like Mr. Cosell, in the sense that my baseball career lasted all of 2 years in the Belleville Recreation and Parks League back in Illinois, where I played on the Bel Air Bowl team. That literally, and I hate to say this, because not until recently, when looking back on some photographs, that I realized that I think the manager of our team, we were as close to the Bad News Bears as any team. And I'm serious. People think I'm exaggerating when I say this. I honestly believe that the reason that our manager managed our Little League team, our Recreation and Parks team, I think it was it was like his probation requirement, like to do community service. I think that's what he was doing. Looking back upon that now, it would not surprise me in the least. And we were an awful team, and I was the worst player on it. I played in right field, and I shuddered when the ball wasn't anywhere near me, and I prayed that it would go anyplace else, because I have close to no athletic ability. But I love the game, and there's something about, and I hope not to be some slovenly guy out in the stands telling players how to do their job. I'm always very respectful of the ball players. But there is something about baseball which anyone, I think, can enjoy, and it's just a matter of being introduced to it and maybe seeing some quality games sometime or another. But you and I have been fortunate together, Tracy, to see some great games in some very interesting locales. I've been with you at Yankee Stadium and at Busch Stadium and at Comiskey Park.
Houston Astrodome.
Houston.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, that was close enough. We went to Wrigley, didn't we? Go to Wrigley?
Yes. Oh, the best place in the world.
Where do we sit again at Wrigley? I'm trying to.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Do you remember? I forget where we were again. I've been there like 10 times, so I forget which time it was with you, honestly. But I'll look back on my.
All I remember is that there was a Cubs fan behind me razzing me because he wanted to know if I was a St. Louis Blues fan as well, because he had a Blackhawks.
That's right. Now it's all coming back to me.
Yeah.
It's rushing back. But there's a great rivalry, and I don't know if you heard me or not, talking to Drew, our caller, end of last hour. But the Cardinal fans in St. Louis taught me a lesson. The big rivalry between the Cardinals and the Cubs that has been going on for 100 and some years. A very friendly rivalry, but a rivalry nonetheless. And when the Cardinal fans gave Sammy Sosa a standing ovation again, when they cheered for him to hit a home run against their own pitcher, I said, you know something? I hope the Cubs make it to the playoffs. I'm going to cheer for the Cubs from this point on.
Oh, God love you, Joe.
So that's taken a lot from me.
It is taking a lot from you.
So.
But you're rooting with me, because I know that the Cards are out of the race, so I'm here in the Chicago area, so I'm going to root for them. And gosh, Sammy's in a slump, and I'm sad for him. I want him to.
He's
really want him to get a home run.
He is not in a slump. He's getting hits. He's
getting a home run.
He's getting on base. I mean, the fact that the Cubs lost 2 games in a row to the Cardinals, that's a far bigger concern to them than Sammy Sosa not being able to hit any home runs.
Thank goodness the Mets got trounced.
Yeah, the Cubs will do fine. The Cubs have plenty of momentum. The question is, who will finish with more home runs, Sosa or McGwire?
Oh, McGwire.
No question.
Come on, he's going to hit 70. You think?
I hope so. All I got to say is that I hope he plays on Wednesday night and Thursday night in Cincinnati, because I'll be there. And Tracy, I'll be seeing you in, of all places, Milwaukee, for yet another ballpark for you and I to enjoy together.
In person.
We'll be at County Stadium in mid-September to be able to see the Cardinals play the Brewers up there. One last comment from you, and that is this.
Yeah.
Or my question for you.
Yeah.
The whole, what is your stance on the whole fate, destiny thing?
Well,
or chance?
I've always believed in fate. I really think things happen for a reason.
Is there any, do you remember when you first started believing that? Was that something that you've always believed? Is it something which is just more comforting to you?
I don't remember when that first happened to me, although I was such a shy, very withdrawn kid, and I wore a back brace because I had scoliosis for years, and the only thing that drew me out of my shell was becoming an actor. I'm an actor now, and the day that I was supposed to try out for my first high school play, which is the thing that turned my entire life around, getting cast in that play, I walked to the door and I decided not to do it. And I turned around so I could catch the school bus. This was after school in high school. And there was this girl out of nowhere. She said, "You trying out for the play? Come on." She literally grabbed me and pulled me in.
What was her name?
Her name was Cheryl Wilson.
I'm just curious.
And Cheryl Wilson was my destiny at that moment. It changed my entire life. I never would have gone in the room.
But the thing is, though, is that destiny, or is that just an example of one person's kindness, one person's choice, making a difference in someone else's life?
Well, you can say that, and I can say both. I can say it was fluke happening, but I have to believe, because it's entirely changed my entire life, that it was meant to be that way. I really do.
That's the big question, and I'll.
And I also think that if Mark McGwire hits number 69, which is the year of my birth, on the day that we go see his game, I'm destined to meet him. At least meet him.
Okay. I think that you were going to say a little bit more than that.
I'm not going to press my luck.
We'll see what we can do. If all you want's a meeting, we might be able to arrange that.
I wouldn't know what to say. My tongue would be completely tied, but I would just
I don't think your tongue would be tied. It'd be on the floor.
Yeah. One last thing.
Yeah.
Can we give a plug to that fabulous pizza place where we had pizza? Because that was the best pizza I ever had in my life, and I feel like we should acknowledge it.
Go ahead.
I don't know the name.
You don't remember?
No.
The best pizza in your entire life, you forget the name of it.
The pizza was so good.
We ordered from Impellazzeri's.
Impellazzeri's in Louisville. Fabulous pizza. And if you haven't had it, you have to get it now.
Okay.
Okay.
Next time, I imagine next time you're in town, Tracy, they'll take care of you.
Good.
Have a good morning.
Bye, Joe.
Bye. And when we come back, fate or destiny? Do you believe in chance, or do you believe in is it free will? Is it chance? Is it choice? Is it fate? Is it destiny? What about that? Are things meant to be? That's my open line philosophical question. Anything else in your mind this morning? We will go completely to open line conversation after the ABC News bottom of the hour. The Joe Arnold Show continues on 84 WHAS.
Get a motivated motor at Louisville Motor Exchange.
Your engine is the heart of your vehicle, and when it skips a beat, don't assume it's time for a new car. The engine doctors at Louisville...
After I tell you what I did one time, you'll know who I am. I'm the guy that said that in front of my son, and he repeated it in Kroger's one night.
Oh, okay.
You remember me?
Yes. You often tell me that story whenever you call. And
I don't tell you the story. I just tell you who I am.
Okay.
Anyway.
I know who you are.
I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yeah.
How you been?
I'm doing very well, especially pretty well after the big home run tonight.
Well, the reason I called for, and I kind of want to maybe open up a can of worms, I'm tickled to death for McGwire. I think he's a gentleman. He's really a class act, and I'll be honest with you, I think if he hadn't have gotten traded, he might have done it last year. You remember he was with Oakland, and he had to get used to National League pitching.
Yeah, he went through a slump of after he was first traded, where I forget how many games it was now, but it was one of the probably the longest slump of his career without a home run, because he was in fact traded. After he got adjusted or acclimated, then he just went off on a tear for the Cardinals. He had 15 home runs in September last year.
But the thing that bothers me the most is really, and I told this to the guy when he asked me what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
The way the press has handled this, and I know that they have to talk to him, but there was just a lot of really, I feel like kind of, I don't know, piddly, that's the word I'm going to use, kind of silly questions they were asking. What so-and-so say to you? What this say to you? There's a lot of stuff there that maybe is kind of private.
I would have absolutely no disagreement with you whatsoever. And I have been, by the way, one of those dumb press people there in a big...
I'm not saying that.
No, I have been, though. Okay, I'm saying I've been one of those folks. You sit out there, you're in a room with 2 or 3 or 400 other people who all have a job to do, who all trying to get a quote, trying to get a quip, and basically what all you're doing is it's like you're digging. It's you have a big pit, and somewhere in that pit, somewhere in that all that muck is a story or is a different angle, and especially for something which is being covered as heavily as this story has been, you're always looking for a different angle on it. And so also I think every reporter basically just wants to have the thrill of asking a question. So you start asking you see the same thing during Super Bowl week. All these reporters, gathering around the Troy Aikmans and Brett Favres of the world, asking them, the most idiotic questions in the entire world. And the other troublesome thing is that, in fact, what happened here, I mentioned last hour that many people tried to derail this whole story. Tried to find something negative to bring up, and that's the press. The press is trying to bring up something negative, some different angle on the story, and it's not going to work in this case. But they're always looking for something beyond just what you can see on the playing field.
Well, I just feel like, and it's the same thing with the 64 teams that are playing for the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
You see those 3 players from each team with their names out there and asking those questions. And my God, those boys, that's the way I feel about those boys. Don't want me answering no questions.
But look what happens though. What I was going to say before about the negative. What happened when the Mets came to St. Louis? And this is before Mark McGwire was really challenging this. He was challenging it, but it was still too early to have the kind of national attention every day on it. Mm-hmm. The Mets reporters came to St. Louis thinking, hey, we're the New York media. We're going to go in there, and here's our Mark McGwire story. And they came in asking the stupidest questions over and over and over again. These questions that he's been asked 1,500 times since February, since spring training. And then they got, all upset saying, well, he's surly. He's buckling under the. Remember when you heard this? He's buckling under the pressure. He's responding to us like he's like Maris, like he's a man possessed. This is getting. No, he wasn't responding to the home run chase that way. He was responding to how stupid the media were. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that some of these press conferences, I don't know where their brains are, but basically they're all trying to get their own scoop. They're all trying to get their own angle on the story, or basically just to enjoy the sound of their own voice.
Did you, anyway, to change the subject, did you go out to the game Saturday?
Which game?
Louisville UK Saturday.
Oh no, I didn't. I wish I could have. I did not have tickets, and although I'll tell you something, for as difficult of a ticket that was to get, isn't it amazing the number of people who left at halftime or during the third quarter?
Well, the thing, like I said, I guess the thing, I've had season tickets out there for 17 years,
mm-hmm.
and I guess the thing that bothers me the most is, is I just didn't see any change from last year as far as the defense was concerned.
And I think John L. Smith would agree with you.
And
he said that the players did not transfer anything that they had practiced onto the playing field. It was almost like they reverted back to last year. And I could tell he was terribly upset by that. Maybe he said some things he regrets now about his own players. From what I saw of the game, and frankly, I was watching the baseball game first, and then I was flipping back and forth, on both channels. But from what I saw on television, I think that your description is pretty accurate, that there wasn't a big difference between last year and this year.
I've been following, like I said, I'm 45 now, and I followed the Louisville Cardinals all my life, and I've seen, excuse me, Pittsburgh come in here in their heyday and score 55 points. I see SMU. Now, SMU had some real strong teams in the early 80s come in here and score at will. But, I hope, like I said, a lot of Louisville fans are not angry at Mummy, because I believe me, Mummy called the dogs off.
Mm-hmm.
He called the dogs off in the fourth quarter. This team could have scored 80 points on us if they wanted to. But like I said, I'm a Louisville fan. I'll be there cheer for them every game. I just, like I said, like to see some changes. But I just really wonder what kind of caliber players does Coach Smith have to work with? Is he in the same boat that Snellenberger came here with? back in '85, where he just has a lot of Division I AA players? Or
well, Cooper had Schnellenberger's players, and Smith has Cooper's players. So, you have to give this guy, I guess, at least 5 years to really show what he has. I don't know how long of a build it's going to be. I think the hope is that you at least make a respectable showing in his first year with the new stadium. You bring the players in. You say, listen, you can be part of a real burgeoning program here. But face it, the team was 1-10 in 1997. Now, some people said that the team's talent was much better than 1-10, but because of the demoralizing factor, because it just seemed to be going from bad to worse under Ron Cooper, a guy that was kind of coming apart at the seams. That's why they lost as many games as they did. That said, with what you witnessed on Saturday, would you say is U of L that bad, or is UK that good?
Well, like I said, we'll find out how good UK is in 3 weeks when they play Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Because definitely they should beat Eastern and Indiana. And then, like I said, I think Kentucky's going to have to. It seems like it's the same old thing for Kentucky every year. Can they beat Tennessee? Can they beat Florida? Can they beat LSU? And that's the three teams they're going to have to hurdle if they're going to get to the top of the SEC. And I sure wish them well, that's for sure.
Right. What about those folks who left early? What about the folks who, this is a very tough ticket, and they walked out in the third quarter?
It's a hard call to make. I don't know if they were just that shocked or disappointed. I know the guy that went with me. Like I said, I think David, with his question of the guy that was with me, I think he was a little disappointed, but I think he was extremely hot. To tell you the truth, I think that the weather had a lot to do with it. It was just hard to to get refreshments. To be honest with you, You had to wait at least I'm serious 20 to 30 minutes in line just to get a soft drink. When you see 15 people in line to get a drink of water. That tells you, and like I said,
it tells you that it's crowded. It tells you that it's a packed house. That's a good thing.
Oh, that's great. I mean, like I said, I stayed at the very last play myself. You know what? Like I said, there's a lot of there's a difference between U of L and UK fans. This is my personal opinion. I might get a little raising some cane with me about that. The UK fans are very loyal. They are extremely more loyal than U of L fans are to the Cardinals, I believe. I mean, that's just my personal opinion.
Did UK fans, when UK was suffering, and of course it wasn't that long ago that UK's football program was in the doldrums, when those were games that were equally as embarrassing as U of L's loss was on Saturday, were UK fans at Commonwealth staying until the bitter end, or were they walking out in the third quarter too?
I think they might have been walking out in the third quarter because they were tired of seeing the same thing. But this over-experience, what I've seen, Joe. I mean, UK fans are much more loyal. I feel like Louisville fans are. Louisville fans are, they kind of get on the bandwagon pretty quick, and then when they're doing bad, they get off. But I don't know.
Right.
That's just my personal opinion.
Okay. Have a good morning, Steve.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
We'll see you, bud.
Good night.
571-8484. Free call for GTE wireless customers 511, and toll free at 800-444-8484. I do think that fans here in town, in Louisville at least, are. I think we expect a lot, which is good in general, but people who are complaining about parking and things of that nature, I don't know how many other college football games they've attended in other cities or other states. I mean, it's fairly common for there not to be curbside parking, for there not to be parking right next to the stadium for everybody. In fact, most of these college campuses and college football stadiums are built in residential areas where you have to walk a long while to get there. And as far as lines at concession stands, that's what happens when you go to a major sporting event. When you go to a minor sporting event, you get right up to the booth, and you order your soft drink, and you turn around, you're back to your seat in 5 minutes because there aren't a lot of people there because there's not a big draw. It's a good sign if there's a long line at the beer booth. Okay, that's a good thing. George is in Corydon, Indiana. Hi, George.
Hi, Joe.
What's going on?
Hey, I don't know if you remember me, but we talked before about the Cardinals earlier in the season.
Okay.
About pitching.
Uh-huh.
How about him?
Big Mac.
Did you get excited?
Yes.
Did you get to see it?
I saw it on television, not in person, but I saw it on Fox Sports. Yeah. I'll be in Cincinnati Wednesday night and Thursday night for the games up there, and I hope he plays.
Can I go with you? Yeah, they're talking about leaving him out tomorrow night.
They might. And listen, I wouldn't blame him. I mean, after all the partying and all the stuff that's going on, the emotional drain of of everything that he had to do with the Maris family and his own family, everything else, I wouldn't doubt whatsoever if Tony La Russa keeps him out of the lineup, but expect a mini riot at Synergy Field.
I love it. I mean, I started crying. I'm from St. Louis.
Right.
I was born and raised fan, blah blah. But as soon as he hit that ball, and I seen them fans rear up, my tears. I got homesick. But do you ever get that? Joe,
what's that?
Do you ever get homesick?
Oh, homesick?
I mean, like when you watch a ball game like Busch
sure.
Stadium. But
Then again, I make it home to St. Louis, to my hometown, at least back to Illinois, often enough that I'll probably go to 5 or 6 ball games in a season. So just enough to kind of sate my my appetite. In fact, I saw two, at least two. I'm trying to think, at least 2 Mark McGwire home runs this year in person. I saw number 1, which was the opening game of the season, the Grand Slam.
You lucky devil.
I saw number 38, which was about midway through, obviously. And then, of course, the rest of them I've seen on TV. Now, I'll be in Cincinnati to see him Wednesday and Thursday. Hopefully he'll play one of those games.
You driving a car?
Yeah.
Can I have the keys to your trunk?
And then I'll be in Milwaukee. I'm going to go to all 3 games the Cardinals play in Milwaukee, 18th, 19th, and 20th of September. So I'm thinking that I'll see, if out of 5 games of the Cardinals, I'm thinking I have a fairly good chance of seeing at least one more round trip by Mr. McGwire before the end of the year.
That's great. Oh yeah. Heck
But I'm curious though, because you are a Cardinal fan. I for a long time, I guess I was just thinking that it's difficult for me to remove myself from being a Cardinal fan and looking upon this as just being a baseball fan. But haven't you been just enthralled and just and enthused by the fact that sports fans everywhere, not just Cardinal fans, are into this?
Oh sure. What they say that in Pittsburgh it's the first time they sold out 2 days in a row since 1960.
I think since ever in the history of Three Rivers, yeah. Yeah, and in fact, even consider that what you're saying. You're talking about that's even during We Are Family. That's even during the 1979 World Series year. They didn't even sell out 2 consecutive regular season games during that season. And because this guy is a true marquee hero. Now, I do think it's. I'll issue my one little caveat here, because I love the game. I want the Cardinals to win. I would trade in Mark McGwire's record if the Cardinals won the World Series. Okay,
Amen.
But and so I guess my concern here is that when people watch a game like they did on Fox tonight, and they only wanted to watch Sosa and McGwire's at bats, I was interested in seeing how those at bats fit into the rest of the game. And frankly, it came down to Sammy Sosa striking out in 2 pivotal situations. That's where it gets exciting, is when these at bats actually mean something.
The pivotal situation is when they intentionally walked him.
Yeah.
And then came back and Langford popped it out.
No, Langford. Yeah, Langford. I didn't.
And then Gant hit.
Right. Langford hit a home run, and then Gant hit a home run.
You darn right.
And Mabry almost had the third back-to-back-to-back. That would have been
that
great.
Was the second time. His first time at bat, he hit it 400 feet out in center field.
Exactly. But that's the whole thing. That's baseball. I mean, everyone's booing when they intentionally walk McGwire, and I can understand why, because they just want to see as much action as possible. But St. Louis fans are usually very knowledgeable, and they understand the game. Of course you're going to walk him, and it's a good thing that they walked him. You know why?
I told my wife that.
Yeah. Because you have a good guy coming up next. Though I just hope that the Cardinals can have some kind of momentum, inertia from this season into next season. I'll say one thing. Those owners have plenty of ticket revenue from the end of the year. They can invest in a Brian Jordan. They can invest in another starting pitcher. They can get maybe Andy Benes or Todd Stottlemyre back. I mean, basically the season, the Cardinals season, and you mentioned pitching before in our previous conversation,
right.
The Cardinals season was over the minute that they screwed up with the negotiations with Andy Benes' agent.
Right.
As soon as they lost Andy Benes, and of course with the other injuries to Alan Benes and Donovan Osborne.
I'm glad to see him come back.
Oh, absolutely. But the problem is it's too little, too late.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine this team with the kind of hitting you've seen the last week and a half.
Sure.
With some
9 out of
solid
10.
pitching. Yeah, exactly. It's been fantastic to watch. It's just so frustrating because they have it. If only they could have put something together earlier.
Amen.
Yeah, and the other problem is, and then I'll get off my soapbox at least for like 2 minutes. Is that though I like the other Cardinal players in general, I think too many of them have seen Mark McGwire get the home runs and get all the attention and the adulation, and I think the rest of them are all swinging for the fences. I would much rather have a Delano DeShields leading off the bottom of the first inning for the Cardinals with a bunt single. Yeah,
wasn't that a great bunt?
That was fantastic.
Perfect.
That is baseball.
Yeah.
That's the inside game. He got on base and he set it up. Now he wasn't able to score, but at least they had it.
Yeah, he got picked off on a balk.
Right. But the point is you got to get on base. It's sort of like the lottery saying you can't win if you don't play.
Right.
Well, you can't score if you don't get on base. And if everyone's swinging for the fences, you're going to end up popping up 9 out of 10 times.
Amen.
But so let's. I mean, listen. I am excited. It's a great night for baseball. It's a great night for sports fans. I think baseball is back, thankfully. Now let's make sure we can get a winning season together next year.
That's be the only thing that would top it for Mark.
I'll tell you what we can do, maybe, George. And it was too late, sort of this year, for me to really get any kind of momentum going with my own program here. Maybe what we'll do is we'll arrange either a trip to Cincinnati during next baseball season or to St. Louis of people who listen to this program. We'll have like a weekend trip. We'll get a big section. We'll get a party room. We'll have a nice time together. Would you go?
You darn right.
Okay.
Oh, with more goosebumps than you can shake.
I will talk to my program director about it before the end of the year, and we'll see what we can line up.
Great, because I listen to you every morning.
Thanks, George.
All right.
We'll see you, bud.
Take care.
More coming up on the Joe Arnold Show, open line conversation. Be a part of it. And some of you I know want to respond to this whole UK U of L fan thing and what the difference is. And we can talk about that. If our earlier caller is saying that U of L fans